G'day guys, back at the boat for another episode. So unfortunately I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just trying to get a little jobs in here or there. Maybe I'll need to measure up my water tanks and get them ready. So just got a whole bunch of little things that I just need to get sorted. So I'm going to get on to those. So I got a package the other day and it happened to be my Poo Tanks. So I ordered these. They're a little small. So I got these poly tanks because basically the way they're designed with all these little inserts here, that you got one of these basically on all four sides. So I'll flip this over, we got them all down here too, and that way it doesn't matter which way you orientate this tank, any direction or corner you could put a fitting in there and it will work out that your plumbing can go anywhere. So I'm looking at having these as my Poo Tanks, so I'll take you on board and we'll show you where I'm looking at fitting these. So I'm down in the aft head and we're going to look at having the toilet set up basically in this back corner. So it'll be sort of in that corner and the toilet's going to back onto this wall that's going to be made in here. So I'm looking, I'll just put you up here, turn it around. So we're looking at having the poo tank mounted so that it's above the water line, basically up here, so that you're sitting down and the pump will pump it up into the tank, and then we'll have a fitting come out and dump the water into the sea just through gravity. So that's that. So we've got a through hole down here, through hole on the other side. We'll use one of them as dumping the poo, and then also we can empty using one of these bottom ones. We can put a fitting on that so that we can empty it out into a bucket if we're in a marina, or into some sort of like carry bag or something that we can take and dump it. So it's not a very big poo tank. It's a lot smaller than some of them you'll see around. But this is basically at the moment a weekend cruiser, and when we decide to take it up overseas, while you're at sea you don't need a big storage container. So that's why I went the smaller one. When you can think of the size of the object that you're putting in there, you've got 30 to 40 uses before you have to think about emptying it. So it's probably a 1 week ordeal having to try and empty that while you're at marina if you're a liveaboard. We're not liveaboards, well, we won't be here all the time. That being said, we have two of them, one forward, one aft. So yeah, hanging it up underneath the cockpit, ability to put something under it. We might even weld in a shelf so you can slide a bucket in nicely, open a nice ball valve, fill that bucket, close it off, carry it away really nicely. We can even open up the companionway stairs and might even have nice access to get a bucket in there, nice and easy. No splashes, no yucks. So yeah, that's my plan. If you think I'm doing a bad job, don't forget to let me know. I'll show you, we're going to put it up the forward head and see if it's going to work there too. Alright, so this is the sail locker. So it's a nice big area. Basically, across here is going to be like a basin for washing your hands, and in that corner where the extension lead is will be a toilet. So we'll try and plumb it in a way where the plumbing will go behind the wall, behind this bulkhead, and we will look at mounting the poo tank up here. So same as before. Mount it up here. Try and give us enough access where we can get an arm in to wash it out and clean it out by hand. We'll have the runner out coming down here so we can empty it manually, and the hose that comes out on the other side down to the seacock. So we'll build a little shelf in it for it in about this location, and one is for a bucket for manual emptying, and the other one is for automated emptying through the seacock. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking at for the poo tanks. So nice little cube, not a cheap cube, but how it's got all these holes means that I've got lots of options now to mount this without worrying too much, without having to drill holes. Threads are already in these holes. It's just a matter of screwing or drilling out the bung that's in there and screwing the fittings that I need on there. So it's a good little option. I can get bigger ones if we feel that these are going to be just too small. But there's always an option of putting a bigger one in later if I need to. Alright, getting a bit hot inside the boat. It's a steel boat and she gets pretty warm. So a lot of sweating. Alright, so let's have a look at what I'm going to do for my water tanks. I have shown in the previous video that it looks like they were welding in and making inbuilt water tanks into this boat. You can see here, well, it could have been diesel tanks, but they've cut them out. All across here has been cut out, all across there. So I'm not too keen in welding in steel like against hull water tanks or diesel tanks. It's going to be an electric boat, so I don't need the diesel tanks. But what I need to do is measure up the distances I have here and work out what tanks I've had. I've had a bit of a research on what tanks I can get. Poly tanks are nice. I do want tanks that have baffles. This is like internal structures inside the tank that can stop water movement. If you have too much water movement, the water will slosh every time you go back and forth. So if you're rocking at sea, they'll build up momentum. If you've got a 1,000-litre tank, you've got a 1 ton force of water percussion just continuing to hit whatever mounts that tank is bolted down to. So we want to try and avoid that. If you put baffles in, so if you've got a 1,000-litre tank, you've got 2 baffles, that gives you 250 litres of water basically rocking back and forth instead of 1,000. So it's drastically reducing the impact on the mounts that tank is strapped down to. So ideally, I would like to put one tank here. So that tank is going to end up being mostly under a cupboard in where the kitchen comes along. And if I put it in the same location on the other side, keeping the weight nice and distributed, that will end up being under the settee. So the settee's going here and here on this side. So that way we have like we're not encumberancing any underfloor storage. It's nice and neat, and you can still have storage above in the settee. You just have a panel that you take off to be able to get into that tank and wash it out. Now the tank that I like is a Vitus baffled polycarbonate tank. Unfortunately, I've got quotes and they're like $800–900 each. So I may not go that direction. I may end up just getting stainless and either making or paying someone to make a stainless steel tank for my water. I want to go at least 600 to 1,000 litres of water. I am going to have a water maker, so I probably don't need to go that high. But water is the life of the boat. I want a lot of water on board. So I'm thinking under here, one nice big tank. Try and get as close as I can to 500 litres. Same as that side. Now, either side here and here, I want my house batteries and my motor battery bank. That's a big area for batteries. I'm going to go a big battery bank. I've got a lot of electronics going into the boat, so we're going to have a big battery bank. So I'm just going to go get a tape measure. I'm going to measure up how big I think I can get a tank in here, and we're going to start doing some planning. Alright, so ideally I want to keep it within this one bay. If I have to go to that bay, that's okay. Let's measure up to see if it'll stay in this one bay. Alright, after measuring that up, and let's just round things up into ballpark figures to make our maths easier. Across is 1 metre, down is 500 mil, and then up is 1 metre. So 1,000 mil, 500 mil, and then triangular back to 1,000 mil. So if you add all that area up, it works out to be 250,000 cubic centimetres. And convert that into litres is pretty easy. 250 litres per tank to fit in this area and that area. Now that gives us 500 litres of water. With a water maker, that's probably okay. But I'm gonna have to throw out, get some quotes on getting some of these tanks made up. I'd like to link them all together with the option of being able to isolate them in case you have a problem with one or a problem with one of the water lines. Isolate, don't lose all your water down the bilge. So it may be that I end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks. That gives me my 1,000 litres. But I may be just doing it like I do every time and overkill things. I may only need 500 litres of water. I'll get online, I'll check out all the posts, say what people think about how much water they normally use on a boat. I do have kids, I do have, like myself, my wife, we are very clean people, we shower a lot. You know, I'd like to drink water, so maybe we should go the extra water, and if we don't use it, we don't use it. If we do, we got it. So I might only need 500 litres of water. We don't know. So we'll suss that out. But at least we've measured it up. We know what's going to fit in each section. It's good to just sit down and plan sometimes. So that's basically one of the last jobs I want to do in here, which is going to have some tabs welded onto the hull to support these tanks. I need a lot of support because it's going to be 500 litres, like 250 litres of weight on each tank, so we want actual strong support. So it's going to have to be a couple of little tabs welded onto the hull. That burns the paint on the other side every time I do that, so I want to get them planned and welded in soon because I really want to start blasting and painting soon. So I have actually got my blasting equipment set up now. Last time I hired a blaster. I don't want to do that. That was a lot of money. It was worth the money, but I got other things I want to spend money on. So I watch a lot of other YouTubers, and one of them, I'm not sure if he cares about me using his name or not, but Project Brewpeg, he used a slurry blaster. He done some great work on that. He just thought about his process and kept upgrading each time. I had a look at what he did. What he did was fantastic, and I'm a coating inspector, so I liked what he did. He knows what he's doing, so if you ever need some tips, check him out. But I've grabbed the nozzle and handle that he used. He put his link on the description of his page. So I've grabbed that, I looked at it, yep, great idea. I've grabbed it. I've got my air compressor, I've got a high pressure water wash. I've just adapted it to suit me. So I'm going to grab that out, show you what I've got there. And I want to blast some paint in here soon. So yeah, I want to just tick off some boxes. So I'm going to grab that out to you and show you guys what we've got there. Alright, I've got my little blasting kit here. Like I said, wasn't my idea. It was picked up by another YouTuber. So it's a lot of other people have good ideas. And so it's basically, I've got this little nozzle here. This one here goes to my pot blaster. So it's got a 10-gallon pot blaster, and it's like a rubber insulated or porcelain lined nozzle for the blasting to mix, and that blaster mixes with high pressure water wash, turning into what this is called a slurry blaster. So high pressure air comes through this line mixed with the garnet, and that atomizes into this nozzle through this high pressure water wash, basically turning it into a slurry blaster. What that allows you to do is blasting with water, just keeps all the dust down. It allows you to blast a lot easier. It's a lot safer. A lot of boatyards won't allow you to use dry blasting because dust goes everywhere. It's an environmental problem. A lot of the old boats have coal tar epoxy. This boat I have found some on, and that is deadly paint. If you could breathe that in, it's basically like breathing in asbestos. It gets in your lungs, you can never get it out, and it basically turns into like a disease like emphysema. So you don't want that. So that's a lot of reasons why a lot of boatyards have banned dry blasting. So this eliminates that completely, turns it into a harmless slurry, which you can use a wet vac to just suck it all out of the bottom of your boat. And it's just safer. And you're not covering your neighbor with a whole bunch of dust and garnet and crap. So it is a much better way of doing it. This is probably less powerful and less efficient than the one I hired, but that cost me $2,000. This cost me $100. I had the other equipment, so it's not a big drama here. So I want to start using this soon, so I've got to finish a whole bunch of little jobs in this boat. I know this week we're not doing a lot of progress, we're doing a lot of talking, but I'll run you through why that's the case at the end of the episode. So yeah, I'll just run you through this, and we want to get to using it. It's a great bit of kit. This is from Able Blasting. You can buy it online. I got it from eBay. So knock yourselves out if you want to try and grab one. So yeah, that's what we're going to get to soon. So last week we ran out a bit of paint, so that's why this all looks half done and all the splatters everywhere. So got another can of paint, and I'm just going to neaten it all up. So stand by while I just do a bit of painting. Well, I've just finished painting and cleaning it all up. So I haven't used all the paint, but I've got a little bit more to clean up around the outside, but looks a lot cleaner. Starts to look like a real boat when it gets a fresh coat of paint on it. A lot neater. Unfortunately, that's all we got time for this week, but unfortunately my work is sending me interstate. At the moment I'm traveling a lot, going back and forth. My job is to certify Navy vessels in like a quality role, so I'm flying interstate and certifying parts of the Navy vessels to make sure they're all right to go out to sea. So I have only got a little bit of time here at the moment on the boat, so I'm just trying to do some little odd jobs here or there, just keeping a little progress going. So just bear with us for a couple of weeks and we'll get back to some bigger projects. So if you haven't already, leave a like, comment if you want, and I hopefully will see you all next week for another episode. So thanks guys, see you next week.